Much love to you and yours. This is Siren Buddha Medicine, and I'm talking about the shadow self today. The shadow self. Where did it come from? I'm really excited about talking about today's topic. The shadow self. Where did it come from? Where did it come from? The shadow self. Good day.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm cool. Where are you from?
Right now I'm just trying to do a live, but I'm from the US. Where are you from?
Wow. I'm from Nigeria.
Hello, Nigeria.
Yeah. You black? Which
No,
country you from?
I'm melanated. I'm melanated like you. I'm more,
Yeah,
not less.
I can
I'm
see
light,
that.
not dark.
Yeah. You beautiful.
Thank you. You wanna
Yeah.
join my live? We got this thing going on in the US where they're talking about the shadow self. You ever heard about that? It's a big thing now.
Not that much. I know
No,
that.
no. Well, you can learn about it tonight because I'm about to tell you how I
Wow.
found the shadow self.
I'm gonna be
How I
happy.
came up how I came up with the term shadow self and what that means.
I'm from Nigeria. You can tell me. I don't know much.
I can tell you, I don't know if
Yeah.
you would understand. You know the dark part of yourself, the dark part of ourself that we try to hide, that we try to ignore.
Mm, that is it's kind of the dark side.
Everybody has a dark side,
Yeah.
and the hardest part about living is admitting that we have something wrong with us,
Yeah. Sure, you're right.
right? Because it sets off an alarm inside. Nobody wants to be wrong. Or some
Yeah,
people, they want to be wrong, but they don't want you to call them on it.
sure.
Right. So how I came up with the shadow self was there was such a dark space in my life at one time that I used to wonder, how do people inhabit such nasty feelings towards one another? I couldn't get it. I really didn't
Mm,
understand it. And then I learned that there was other forces that were ruling, you know what I'm saying, that were dominating the way people were thinking,
yes.
right?
Exactly.
So in the Bible it talks about the shadow of the Almighty.
Sure.
And it got me thinking about how the shadow is actually a living thing. It's not just a shadow.
It's not just
It's
a shadow, yeah.
right, it's a spirit of its own. It's alive and
Yeah.
it's taken a record and it's with us through all our days. The shadow, like our reflection, right?
Yeah.
And the difference between a shadow and a reflection is the reflection has color, you know, where you can see yourself to a certain extent. But a shadow is more like an absorption of energy, where you can see yourself, but more like feel yourself and the energy that you're giving off, and that space. The dark light that you give off, right? Versus the light that you give off, because these things are alive in us,
Mm,
just like thoughts and
yeah.
spirit are alive. What do you think about that?
Mm,
Do you think thoughts are alive?
no.
Why not?
Sincerely, I don't have much idea about the first all those. I don't have ideas. I don't have much ideas about those.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Well,
just right.
I'm just here to make you think, to get you here to think. That's what I do. I have ideas that I share with people, spiritual ideas.
Okay. I'll be happy. I'm happy that.
Yeah. So I'm gonna do this live, and I'm gonna start telling my story and share where that came from for me. and
All
hopefully
right.
that will help other people. I'm hoping to help other people with my story, that maybe you could relate to it. You don't have to be into ideas, but if you just kind of can relate to where I'm coming from,
Yeah.
maybe you can get something out of it.
Yes, true.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, true. So happy.
Yeah, can you give me a follow?
Yeah, you can give me a follow back. I'll give you a follow.
Can you give me a follow? I follow you.
All right. I'm gonna follow you up
Okay.
so that we can be coming live together. At least you're gonna tell me a little. You're gonna tell me. I'll be happy to.
Okay.
Can you give me a follow?
Yeah, you're like a sister to me because you're black. I'm black. That's
I'm
the way.
melanated. But I can relate. I know.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. I really appreciate. Yeah, love you.
Nigeria.
Yeah, one love. Love you.
Much love to you.
Yes, much yeah. I'm gonna follow you.
Can you hang up? Because I don't know how to yet.
Hey, if I don't hang up, I will enter. I don't hang up. You see me guy come out.
Okay, one can see on that.
Where be that? Okay. All right.
Thank you. All right, everybody. Much love to you and yours. Two Pieces, Greg, Anarchy, Jib. Everybody who joined the live, much love to you and yours. We're talking about the shadow self. I am really happy to be talking about this topic with you. This is one of my favorite topics. It's deep and close to my heart. I hope you can hear me really well. I'm going to get in there. Okay, so the shadow self is deep, okay? Much deeper than people have been portraying it to be. And I was researching with a group of people that were fantastic to learn with around 2012. They were called The Resistance. It was called the Invisible University, and it was online. And we had a good time learning and stuff until they turned into the University, which is still going on, which is an online, like, occult systems learning mechanism that has many different features on it and stuff, run by Seven Bowmer and friends, okay? But at the time, it was run by Seven Bowmer and friends. And in 2012, it was called The Resistance. And we used to share, we were a lot, more close. There's a time when the ether did not have as many people in it, as far as the elevated thought and people coming up with these topics and stuff like that. But we knew that there was going to be a time, because some of us that are empathic, clairvoyant, and whatnot, which can hear and feel thought and the presence within the ether, and even those of us who do astral travel and are actually in the ether. This is distracting to me right now. This is really important to me to keep this going, so I'm just going to keep this going. Could feel the presence of others in that dream state, in that creative state, in that ether state, okay? Hopefully, if you're in the live and you saw this is about shadow self, you're into stuff like this, or you're interested in learning things like this. So I'm telling the story about where the shadow self came from. I can't do those right now, okay? So around 2012, when I was learning with these people, we were really close to each other. It was an intimate group. We used to share a lot. And I dropped dreams in there. I dropped a lot of knowledge, and they dropped a lot in there. We shared a lot of stuff. And I was able to grow significantly from that to a certain degree as far as my knowledge base, and realizing that a lot of the dreams and visions that I was having over the years were actually something that was real. And that meant something to me, because for a long time, in the U.S., shaman and is exclusive to pretty much when I was growing up. I didn't know what a shaman was. And then as I got older, I thought that it was exclusive to the indigenous Indians. And then as I did research, I learned about being Moor. And I learned about the declassifications of the Moors and the indigenous into calling them black. Okay. And so I am much more, and I'm melanated, and I relate to the black experience, but I'm aware. Okay. I'm also awake, and I'm not lost at sea. Although I haven't legalized anything, I've internalized a lot. That being said, when I learned that my dreams and visions were actually our ancestors and spirit contacting me, and that I wasn't crazy, because in this culture, people who see things that other people can't see and are not part of the conglomerate thought, part of the reality that they're portraying, are called crazy. And so they're spent many years locked away and denying who I was, being able to see spirits, being able to hear thoughts, being clairvoyant, being an empath, and being able to feel things. And it took me a long time to be able to walk into a room and you just feel like, man, it's equivalent to being on a highway and feeling like all the cars are going to hit you, but it's just the energy from the cars. The cars are just an illusion, but you don't know it. It's that feeling, as if all this stuff is coming at you. That's what it feels like to be an empath. And then you have to learn how to control your traffic and what to let in, what not to let in, and where do you start and where do you end. And that was part of my shadow self journey, was my own self-discovery, that I wasn't crazy, that I was special. To listen to my ancestors speak to me and tell me to stop denying myself, to acknowledge the dreams that I had. There's this dream that I had that was reoccurring, where I was in this space that at the time I had no idea was the Sphinx. And so I'm in this long hallway, and I'm walking down this long hallway. This all has to do with the shadow self, with the part of myself that I was denying because society had told me it was bad. So inside, I wasn't able to claim my light self. I wasn't able to claim myself because I didn't have the reinforcement to realize, to go against the predominant reality, the predominant thought, which is crazy. As I was growing up and developing my mind and all that stuff, when you need support and guidance, I didn't have the same venue. Good day, everybody that joined my live. We're talking about the shadow self. At the time I was growing up, and I realized that things were different about me. I could see spirits, ghosts used to talk to me. So I denied that part of myself, although I did partake at times. I did talk to spirits, I did acknowledge them, but I was told to keep my mouth shut and not talk about it. Like there was this thing that I did when I was around maybe 8 years old, 7, 8, and I was like, every time I turn around, I see devils come out the ground. And they looked at me and said, don't talk like that, don't say things like that. And so I was taught to suppress that part of myself. When I said that I saw spirits, there was an old lady in a rocking chair years later who was in my bedroom, and the curtains used to blow, and I used to see her rocking back and forth in the chair. Not physically, but transparent. I was able to see her. And she looked at me and communicated telepathically that I could hear her, knowing that no one else could hear her or see her. I guess when she lived in the house, she used to like to sit in front of the windows with the curtains blowing. Something that I would love to do. Things that I like to do. But I was a little girl and I didn't really understand all this, but I tried very hard to. And this is my light self expressing itself that people are telling me is dark, to ignore this part of me. So anyway, I would get in trouble. I was a teenager at this time. This is down the road. And my mom, we had this back door, and my mom told me not to leave this back door open. So I would get my butt whooped if I left this back door open. So this one time, there was a fight with spirit where it was telling me, you know, leave the back door open, and I didn't want to leave the back door open. I'm talking about shadow self, and I'm talking about acknowledging myself, and I'm talking about my own spiritual journey and how I came up with the term shadow self in 2012. Okay? And how it was expressed and shared with the occult and you know, the research community in 2012 and 2012 with the resistance and the community, you know, that we had. So anyway, one night there, I was talking to this spirit, and she told me to leave the door open. And I was like, nah, I can't leave the door open because I didn't want to get my butt whooped by my mother. You know what I'm saying? I was not trying to have that. But she coached me to leave the door open, so I did. And I went to stay the night with a friend, teenagers, something they were doing, stay overnight or whatever. And that night, the house caught on fire. And it caught on fire in the front. And if I hadn't left the back door open, my brother, my sister, and my mom could have been burnt to death. The fire started in the next door neighbors, and it was a duplex. Okay? So, because I left the door open, they were easily able to get outside when they were pushed away from the front door and towards the kitchen, toward the back door area. And I had locked it because I'm the one who had the key. That was the door I used. I didn't use the front door. I used the back door. A teenager, you give them their own little, you know what I'm saying? So you don't disturb anything. I was using the back door key for whatever reason. I had the key. You're not getting out of there unless you break. I'm sure they could have broke a window or broke the door down or whatever, but it probably would have been a lot harder without me leaving it open. But that was when I started to realize that I had to do something because I was so conflicted that on one hand, I'm being told to deny myself. Have you ever been told to deny parts of yourself that you should really be acknowledging? But you just don't know how, you don't have the courage to because other people are telling you that you don't have a right to claim your own self because it's not the predominant thought. That's the shadow self. That's part of the shadow self persona. These thought forms that tell you you're not entitled to you and the special you and the gifts that your own creator gave you and made you, because what your biology is expressing is different than what someone else's biology is expressing. So you're supposed to suppress who you are in order to allow the predominant thought to shine. And I don't agree with that. I think it's very unhealthy, and it was very unhealthy for me for years and taught me not to be able to trust not even my own thoughts for years. You know, I had no boundaries and was led by the nose by what I thought someone else that was better than me thought and felt, just so I could get through life, because what I was feeling and thinking didn't sync with everybody else. So I was in a dark space, which is the reason why I ended up in the hospitals on their medications with their diagnoses and stuff. Just like they diagnosed runaway slaves. Here I was, an empath, you know, with these diagnoses and all these medications and stuff, and them projecting their interpretations of who I was onto me. But I had no idea that I was also being policed, because a lot of times people know who you are before you know who you are. Hello, American. Hello, Lotus, Jose, Sarah, Chrysalis, Joanne. I'm glad that you guys joined the live. I'm talking about the shadow self and my own journey, coming up where the terminology shadow self came from, and why I projected that into the reality in 2012. While I was working with good friends and stuff like that, together researching and learning at the Resistance, which was a universal college. The Resistance is developed now, and they're actually the university, okay, with Seven Bomer. But at the time, in 2012, we were the resistance before they moved, and it was more intimate, and we used to share more, and I was able to learn more, and there was this big expansion that happened with me that needed to happen to me for my journey. Okay, so during that time, I shared notes, I shared dreams, visions, and I dropped a lot of stuff that was able to give me this cohesion that I needed to allow me to realize that I was not alone. That there was a community of people out there that were like me, that were empaths, that thought different, that were plugged into the universe, that heard voices from their ancestors, from the planet, from the Most High, that needed to be careful about what they ate, drank, who they were around. Like there was all these other facets, your clothes, so much that I'm still catching up to all that. Okay? Still catching up on to all that. But the awareness of it changed the way that I was able to interact with my reality. Because when something happened, I was able to tell the difference between, well, what is it? Is my clothing sucking up energy? Is the environment sucking up the energy or projecting energy? Where is that thought coming from? I was able to get to know myself. Doggone it, I was angry. I was angry that I let people in my head since I was a child. I let them tell me what to think, how to feel, what was right and what was wrong, and I trusted them. And it didn't work out for me, and I was angry when I found out some things that I found out in research. And then I learned, after spinning my wheels so long, that shadow self, that anger, the feeling of betrayal, the fear. If you can't trust them, doggone it, who can you trust? If I can't trust myself and my own thoughts, then who can I trust? So I was on a long journey toward learning how to trust myself. And with all this rage and anger and frustration and fear, what do I do with it? And it was one thing to be able to share it, which I did. That was a part of the journey. And so I started to share my visions and dreams. This is a picture that I drew before that I shared with them. This is El Shadow. This voice used to come and be like El Shadow. And there was even a poem about El Shadow that I wrote in here. Okay. But yeah, El Shadow. It was like this thing with teeth, and there's different dimensions to it, as you can see. You know, like a fruit. You see the inside, and then what is it? Like one of those star fruits or something. You know, and then it also has the dimension where you can just look at the outside of it, and it's like a being. You know, just projecting this dark light. And it's El Shadow, so it was something divine and something special. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't just, it was speaking to me, it was alive. And it started speaking to me through visions and dreams. And led me on a journey of light code, of the different types of light, of the light and dark in me, of the yin and yang and the way the world works, and decoding all that. Okay? The shadow, which comes from light, makes the shape of letters, which led me to the Hebrew alphabet. Jewel. These are my notes I took many years ago. Ooh, there we go. And yeah, I keep a lot of notes and journals and stuff. Jewel, Hebrew, you know, the Moors and the journey of the Hebrews, and how that language is directly attached to some people's genealogy and biology, you know, as in the very blood, you know, of the lineage of some of us. If not all of us, when you think about one being being the mother of all beings, then all of us have traces of the first being. But we're not really going there right now. We're talking about the shadow self, okay? And the flame and you know, just how it was a different form of light. I'm showing you these to show you these are the journals and things that I was sharing with people when I was at the Resistance and in 2012. Okay, when I came and how I came up with the term. Not the journal. I didn't make their journal. I haven't even read that Shadow Self journal. But the terminology itself and the place that it came from, I need to share with you because it's from a very spiritual and deep place and shouldn't be taken lightly. And there was a lot more deeper aspects to it that I am absolutely sure that journal doesn't have, because I am the person that came up with it, and there was a reason why something so powerful came out of me. So I'm just sharing with you for your FYI, for those that, you know, find that kind of thing important. I'm trying to share with you, I am sharing with you where that came from and why it was created in the essence of it, okay? So through dreams and visions led me to the journey on wanting to learn more about light, about the light inside of us, about the light around us, about us being light, that, you know, we are light code beings, and that when we are born, there's a trajectory that zeroes in on who we are. That's how you get your date of birth, the place where you were born. Like even when you go for a license or anything like that, they ask you, okay, so where were you born? Some places ask you what time were you born, and they ask you what day you were born, and this can triangulate you into a lot of information depending on what systems that you use, and tells what orchestration of light was in the area during the vicinity of your time of birth, which gives you access to a bag, per se, of traits and abilities exclusive to you, because via your time of birth, the place where you were born, you know, and even the people that you came out of, and the name that you were given, you know, starts to play a part of it. But this is all light code because we're light. During the time of conception, you know, that passion, the consideration and how much connectivity your parents have go into your spirit, you know, and what's going on there, you know, and it's totally different than a test tube baby, you know, when you add in the physical touch and passion and all these feelings and emotions, okay? Light code, we're talking about the shadow self, okay? This El Shadow was talking to me, and I had all these feelings and emotions when I was learning all these different things, and I started thinking, damn, doing my research and learning about all this wicked stuff that people were doing, and I'm like, thinking about how I grew up, you know, and incest, being an incest survivor, and, you know, DV, you know, and just, you know, when you learn about pedophilia and stuff like that was one of my journeys, you know. Why did I go through that in my family? You know, why was that necessary? And then learning about different spiritual energies and stuff and different thought forms, okay? That is also light, okay? And there's different grades of light. And there's counterproductive and productive thought. And what's counterproductive for one is productive for another, depending on the way they're thinking. So it really became crazy up there. And I tried to figure out, well, what do I do with all this energy? Because information is also energy, and you can become overloaded and feel it. You know, everything has an energy and a frequency and an energetic potential to it. So as I was learning, I started feeling all this stuff inside and had to figure out, give me a minute, I had to figure out what to do with that energy. And that led me to shadow boxing. Now, I've never been one to like to follow directions exclusively. I've always been an out-of-the-box person. I want to figure out the shortcut, not in a way that's going to damage me, but I want to cut through the BS. I always looked at different ways to do things. And doing things exactly the way someone else before me has done things, it's never really been my design. And I always thought there was something wrong with me because of that. Especially the people who follow the rules and follow the letter and stuff will tell you there's something wrong with you because you don't do what everybody else does. But that's actually a plus, because if we're all the same, we're all in trouble. We need all the different peoples that we have in the world in order to get a full picture of things. Okay, so I started learning how to do deep breathing and yoga. I started Kundalini yoga, regular basic yoga. How to control my thoughts, because I was coming from allowing the mental health community and those providers in there all up in my head, telling me who I am, and some of them were controllers. Okay, some of that was from the hidden hand and all that kind of crap. Okay, because at the time I was lost at sea. I had no idea. But thanks to the Most High and our ancestors, the light turned on. And when the light turned on, I started to see that the only way through figuring out how people could be so monstrous was trying to figure out how I could be so monstrous. How I had the potential, how anybody had the potential to do certain things. And how is that possible? Because we can all be subjected to thought forms. We're all vulnerable, especially without the awareness of it. And so that led me on a whole nother journey. So knowing that you're vulnerable, knowing that there's a problem, being aware of a problem is not the solution, is it? Being aware of a problem is not the solution. I'd appreciate it if you'd like my life, so that we can improve the human condition and give each other what we each want. I want to be liked, and I want to like you, and I would like it if you'd like me. If you like what I'm saying, do something that's really easy, beneficial for both of us, and just tap the like button. Helps me stay around longer, helps me want to stay around longer, it helps you find me easier. So we're talking about the shadow self and how I came up with the term shadow self in 2012. I had all these feelings and emotions, was going through all this research, had all this energy because I'm a triple generator, okay? And I naturally run high energy. Then I'm learning all this stuff, and it just increased my energy because the knowledge itself was another level of energy. And I was just tripping, trying to figure out what in the world did I get into? What do I do? And I was very aware that the only way that I was going to get better was to take the same journey that I was hoping that anybody else would take, which was self-reflection. So while I was dancing, which is one of my ways in nature, with my shoes off, grounding, and I'm doing my, I find Tai Chi more orchestrated or dictated in movements to tell you how to move for a particular reason, which is good. But my spirit wants to be free and do the same movements, the same type of movements from my heart, but through improv without being told what to do. You can understand why my spirit wanted to do that after all the dictation that I had been experienced in most of my life, you know. And so that's what I did. I learned this thing called, I found out about Qigong. And how this happened was, okay, so it's a lot of little working parts, okay? So I'm doing the hand movements, and I'm noticing when I'm doing it outside in nature, and I'm grounding my shadow. And I'm thinking all these things, and I'm trying to eradicate all these feelings, and I'm trying to sort out all these emotions, and I'm trying to work through all this freaking stuff that I was learning in my research, and I'm going through this spiritual awakening. And I'm coming into myself, and I'm learning how to trust myself, and I'm learning how to throw away thoughts that should have never been there. And I'm learning how to trust myself. And the shadow was talking to me, you know? My inner self was speaking to me. And it was very important to me that I listened. And it made it fun and easy to go through the dark night of the soul, so to speak, through the worst part of it, and look at the dark part of myself in that movement and the dance. And so I called it shadow boxing. At first, I called it shadow boxing, and I shared that on Facebook, and I also shared that on my YouTube, which is Regina's Rabbit Hole. I shared my entire, not my entire, but I shared much of my research and journey while I was evolving and changing during that time. The things that I was learning and how I was feeling, things that I was experiencing, even going through the DV. And I left it there. It's called Regina's Rabbit Hole on YouTube. And I shared shadow boxing. And through sharing shadow boxing and went back to therapy, back to church, back through the places that I thought I wanted to stay away from, and I would no longer be able to get any kind of benefit from, things that were just hurtful and abusive to me being different. Was able to see the archons and the thought forms and how they can project into this reality, and that we're all subjected to darkness, just as we are subjected to light. And it is what it is, that a lot of things it's not so black and white. There are other aspects, and that's why we're not really supposed to be determining whether someone is good or evil, that's supposed to be left up to higher authorities. Like, we're not supposed to be punishing people for being good or evil. You know, I really believe that there's other aspects to things that people don't think about. Why I say that? In my journey, I saw what could make a father touch his child and do something so horrible. Thoughts like that go through your head. What could make a mother beat on her child and be jealous of her own daughter? How could stuff like that happen? You know? What could make a guy walk in a freaking church, you know, and just start shooting people, or, you know, set off bombs? What could make people do things like this? And it's thought forms. Thoughts form. Thoughts are light. Light is a code. Entertain something long enough and it's like a seed, you know? And just like I was finally hearing the thoughts of our ancestors and the Most High speaking to me, there was a time when I denied it, you know? But I made an agreement to never do that again. I remember that part of that scripture, in the shadow of the Almighty, and how the shadow is alive. You know, there is positive and there's productive and counterproductive aspects to anything, depending on who you are and where you're sitting on it, in that realm. You know, if you're a pedophile, a vulnerable child is a good thing. But if you're the child, it's not. Okay? So depending on where you're sitting at, if you're a child, a pedophile is not a good thing. Okay? But depending on what people are thinking and where they are in their hearts and spirits will determine where the light and the dark and how it's projected. I'm going to take this color and see what happens. Sorry, I didn't catch you fast enough, dear. All right, so that's when I started to learn those kind of things and those kind of things that I was projecting into my mind and bringing into my dance, into my meditation and reflection. And so the shadow boxing turned into the shadow self. And self-reflection is a big part of the shadow self, because that's what it is a deep self-reflection. Okay, that didn't work out, but I did try to get you in. Okay, so I used to wonder why people do what they do. And so the shadow, also when you look at the some of the etymology of it, just look at the deeper meaning, shadow. And then El Shadow was talking to me, and El Shaddai came in, okay? El Shaddai, and also Evil Eye, and how people throw shade, you know, and how I wanted to feel better about myself, so I had to deal with my shadow self, you know, and deal with how I might want to throw shade, you know, how I might be the elephant in the room at times. I had to be willing to want to be extremely honest.
We is.
So much love to you and yours. Adi, that's a cool name. How you doing?
I'm good.
That's good. Can you relate to the shadow self?
No.
No? How come?
Well, I'm not really familiar.
No? Okay. It's okay that people are not familiar. The shadow self, it is for everybody if you're into self-development. If you're into helping other people. There was always this thing while I was going a few credits away from a psychology associates, right, that I was working on. And they would say that a therapist should always have a therapist, you know, and a wise person always seeks counsel. But you have to be honest with yourself and to thine own self be true. And it's a way to bring certain spiritual principles and aspects into looking at yourself as a light code being. So there's different dimensions to looking at the shadow self, not just the things that you do that you
I'm good. I'm good. Nice meeting you.
Sure. I do. Did you hear what I was talking about on the live?
No,
The topic is the shadow self. Do you know about the shadow self?
I can hear you well.
The topic is the shadow self. Do you know about the shadow self?
No, no, please.
You don't know about the shadow self?
Yes.
Okay. What would you, if I tell you you have a shadow part of yourself that's a shadow, what would you think I was saying to you? What does that mean? See, a lot of people can't get into it. It's not for everybody. It's for people who want to work on themselves. It's easier to blame everybody else in the world for the problems and point out what's wrong than it is to look at your deeper self and find out how you contribute to the problem and walk through it in light. And that's what the shadow self is about. That's what I came to talk about, was how this all started, was sharing that with the conscious community. At the time, we called ourselves the conscious community. We was woke, or we was waking up, and we were into things like occult systems and researching how things like the terminology conspiracy theory actually meant people that were on to something and ended up being whistleblowers and on the watch list, you know, and the government's poop list, you know, things like that. Okay, we were into some real stuff, some real dark stuff, but by shedding light on that dark stuff, we cast a shadow. And in casting that shadow, when I saw my shadow while I was dancing, it wasn't a bad thing. It was a good thing. I was happy because I could finally really see myself. I could finally see there was no way to be perfect. I could finally see the corruption, just the potential for anybody at all to be corrupted by certain thoughts, intentions, motives, and that the space of agape love without certain knowledge and tools was doggone near impossible. But it is possible. But it starts with loving self. But then if you've never had that or experienced that, that's a whole nother journey to be able to find love. Funny enough, just like our ancestors came up with certain martial arts and stuff by watching animals, I originally started getting into self-love by watching certain animals and how they cuddle and I didn't trust as much as I because I trust myself. Much love to you and yours. How you doing? I can't hear you.
What's up? Hi, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Where you from?
I'm from the U.S. Where are you from?
No.
I
Damn.
cannot hear you.
Yo, can you hear me? I said I'm from Africa. What's up?
Africa?
Yeah,
You guys be on here late too.
yeah.
Yeah.
You have something doing? Yeah.
So, do you have something in your culture that you can relate to the shadow self?
I didn't get you.
Like the dark parts of the soul, the dark parts, things that you think or feel in your heart?
Not really.
You don't have that?
No.
What's up with the world, man? Where is the shadow self? We got to be dealing with this part. You know, they said that if somebody else don't check, if you don't use your gifts, somebody else will. So if you don't know that some part of you can be exploited and we don't look at ourselves and we don't reflect on ourselves, somebody else can get in there and exploit that part of us. Like if somebody knows you're jealous, they're able to exploit certain parts of us that want to fill up that space, that don't want to feel insignificant, right? And if we don't know what we're jealous about and that we have that issue with a certain thing and we're not willing to work on it and we don't want to admit it, then someone else can push our buttons all the time. I'm a thinker, I'm a talker. If you're not willing to learn, you don't want to elevate your mind, you're not into the shadow self, if you can't think, then this is not the place for you. Qigong's live. My life coach videos, Life Coach 369A is not for you. Qigong is not for you. The tools are not for you. Siren Buddha medicine is not for you. If you don't like turn it on your brain and it's all about this is not for you. Because I'm a thinker. There's a lot of garbage on here. I'm not saying I don't produce any garbage, but you know, I'm a thinker. I'm a spiritual person. I'm sharing my journey. I'm very serious about this. I'm a life coach. I've been at this for years. I'm sharing the same things that I use for myself. I know they work because I came from a real dark space. I was not supposed to make it. They had me all messed up. They had me around here like boo-boo the fool. I was running away from myself and I was not self-reflective. You were able to push my buttons and robot me and puppeteer me like a Barbie all over the place. I was on fire until I was able to look at my shadow self. Until I was able to look at information as light. Until I was able to get the concept of thought forms and light beings and Nephilim and archons and where our earth history and ancestry, it goes a lot deeper than just updating the basic psychology profile into a marketable pamphlet or booklet. This came from a serious life journey. It came from dreams and visions. It came from a lot of pain. I would sit across from my dad and ask him, how could you do that to me? And he would say, I don't know. And I would think, how come he's not running away? Because I treated him mean as heck. Like, how can you treat somebody kind? Like, you're lucky I'm even talking to you after you do something like that. And I would wonder, and it caused such grief and pain. So I learned about, thought forms and archons and stuff and spiritual energies and stuff. Demonic presences. We have the spiritual warfare is real. And it all starts with a thought. And that's why I learned from El Shaddai, El Shadow. My own inner shadow. When I danced, it was a dance of light. A dance of inner light. I can't fix anything if I can't see it. I can't project light if I don't deal with my darkness, and I had to find a way to purge. And that's where my Qigong came from. Because I was like, how do I do this uniformed Tai Chi? Which was very predestined, you know what I'm saying? The moves go like this for this reason, and you breathe like this for this particular reason, and it goes like this, and you get this particular effect over a period of time. But my natural spirit, especially after being told what to do and who I was for all that time, didn't want to stay within those realms. And I wondered why my soul was telling me to do something different with it. But I went with it. And then through dreams and visions, they showed me what to do. The movements and the flow and the feeling that I get when I dance. And I activate my consciousness and meditations into the movements while I plug into the planet and the ether stream and use my body as a symbolic vessel is awesome. I'm able to get to a space that I was never able to achieve in my life, to let it all go. And it's magic. Imagine your head just full of all the pain and misery of all the things that you experienced, and you can't freaking figure out why. Some people take themselves out of here. And it's not like I hadn't when I was younger, attempted, but it never freaking happened. The goofiest stuff used to happen. And I was always, somebody warned me, girl, you're going to jump off a building and wake up freaking crippled. Then you really wish, you would have got your head on straight. That's the kind of dumb stuff that I used to do because I was in such turmoil in my spirit and my soul. And I needed light, and I went to people that was supposed to be holding the light, holding the answers, and I felt let down. And then I wondered, how could they let you down? How can parents let you down? And these are things that I've said before in the life. These are the same things that a lot of other people think in the world. I know you do. I know this is a powerful message because I see so many people in the live flicking by. And I know that these topics that I'm talking about that were part of my darkness, that I get to siphon out, my shadow self. Do you know, okay, so energy never dies, it only transforms itself. And where do pedophiles freaking come from? All right? It's the root, right? Where did it come from? Hurt people. And then there's the wounded healer. There's the person who faces themselves and does that reflectiveness. Part of the shadow self is mirror work. To look yourself in the eyes and be able to see your own soul. Can you look your own self in the eyes and see your own soul? Can you look yourself in the eyes and see other people and what they might be going through, and like the connectivity that other people might be experiencing the same thing that you are, that other people also feel insecure, that other people also feel fear and anxiety and jealousy and hunger, right? And desire and all the other sensations and feelings that we're subjected to as a part of the human experience is natural. I am separated over 3 years, Joseph. Okay, so, yeah. That's the beginning of how I came up with the shadow self and doing your shadow work, because it came from the shadow boxing that I was doing when I got dreams and visions. And those dreams and visions, like I would have them and then I would listen to, I would mimic what I was shown to do in my dreams and my visions, and then I would go online and like magic, I would bump right into the very thing that existed on this planet that was similar to what I was being shown in the ether. And then I had a name for it, and that validated my experience that I was actually being contacted or communicating with something that was higher than myself, that was leading me through that darkness that I was in, where I allowed other people to tell me that I didn't have a right to my higher self, to my gifts, to my empathic abilities, to being able to plug into the planet. You know, the ley lines are powerful. Being that, that's powerful. To be able to, if light is alive and everything has light in it and is made of light and water, wouldn't it make sense to pay attention to these elements? If you can talk to water and water holds all this information, wouldn't it make sense to develop a relationship with the very things that make up the components of who you are? Before, you know, we make up all these different relationships with all these other things around us. Like, I'm literally communicating with the water from inside you because I'm connected to the water that's inside me. I'm connecting to that core frequency of yourself, whether you run from it or not. That truth frequency. That part that likes to hide in the shadows of yourself. The things that we don't like to admit about ourselves that are part of our human experience. And when you just admit that, shoot, it's a part of the human experience, it kills the ego. You're not special. The stuff you're feeling that you're trying to hide feeling and you're running from, and because you're running from it, you can't heal from it because you won't admit that it's even there. It's part of the human experience. Whether you wanted it to be or not, you know? And when we don't talk about certain things, we can't heal them. And that becomes part of the shadow self, is wanting to hide our hurts, wanting to hide our pain, wanting to hide our insecurities and our distortions, because we don't feel safe sharing them. Because we feel like, oh, that can't be a part of the human experience. But it is. thoughts form, thoughts are seeds, and it's like they need to be regulated, they need to be changed, they need to be molded and shaped. If you don't do it with your own thoughts, someone else sure will. But then some of us are just here for that because that's what we choose, to have other people regulate our thoughts as a part of our own human experience. We'd rather have someone like myself do the deeper thought and just, do the heavy lifting. And just contemplate it or not, right? And use it or not, and just... Some of us just want to keep blaming other people. But I sure feel empowered knowing that I'm responsible. No, this is a talk about the shadow self. And I call myself Siren Buddha Medicine. And I do something called Qigong that came from shadow boxing, which I started doing because it came from dreams and visions when I was learning about myself and trying to heal myself. So, I used to be so afraid of the darkness, so afraid of displeasing others, And it's almost like the child who thinks that there's a monster, or, in the scary movie, and they take the covers, and I was doing this so you don't see me. You don't see me. I'm not here. Isn't that so immature? Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was doing with my problems and issues. You don't see it. It's the elephant in the room. Like, do you see me? Okay. Like, it's not going away. And so that's why we have a big mess where hurt people are continuing to hurt people because they're afraid to admit that the problem is even there, and cover it up and think that you can't see them. But that monster is not going away. That shadow is not going away until it is ventilated, processed. Energy never dies. It only transforms. You have to deal with that light code frequency. You have to deal with that thought form and transmute it and change it, And so that's where the shadow comes from. It's an empowering thing, to be able to see the work that needs to be done, to be able to claim oneself, and be able to see the difference between what is me and what is you. What is your stuff and what is my stuff? If I can take responsibility for me, that gives you less ability to be able to puppeteer me. It empowers me, actually. It empowers me greatly. Who is it this time? What's going to happen? This is like my least favorite part. Good day. Much love to you and yours. How you doing? Hello there. How are you? Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Again.
How you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm fine. Where are you coming from?
From Africa?
Yeah, I'm also from Africa too, bro. Nigeria precisely.
From Nigeria. So
I'm moving to testify. I'm never satisfied. Get who verify. I take my sacrifice. I come through with my stuff. I'm not getting master plan. Even my big
what do you
man.
guys
My
call
big boys speak German.
the
Of
shadow
course, me
self in
need a man.
Nigeria?
Same thing me and you different. I said about the two.
You guys have something you call a dark self in Nigeria?
Exclusive from Bello.com.
You do?
Many people say
What do you
don't
call
die.
it?
Fucking every day and night. But they want to make a day one place. No, you come now, make a go right. Olúwa
Can you turn
lóore.
that down?
Lókè lókè lókè. Bàbá mi kọ́
Dance for me.
bless. Don't jẹ́ ká lọ. Cause anything also. They wanna see me fall. They no fit see my downfall. Orí mi lọ́kọ̀.
What do you say?
Yeah. So do you have something you call the shadow self in Nigeria? Like, what do you call the dark part of somebody? Inside. When somebody got something dark inside, what do you call that?
Like somebody got a dog inside.
Yeah, you know, like a bad spirit. What do you call that?
Witches. We call them witches.
Anybody with a bad spirit, you call a witch?
Yeah.
That's it. That's so general and broad.
Yeah, like they are of different categories. We have witch, they call them witch, wizard, and so on, demons, and so on.
Yeah, we call them demons too.
Yeah.
What do you call them?
We will call them witches and wizard.
Wizards, witches.
Yeah.
So, what is your life like there?
Life in Nigeria is as an African, as precisely Nigerian, just got to struggle yourself. You need to hustle to be who you are. It's just we got no choice. Just need to just admit it the way it is. Yeah. And I South Africa too.
What part?
I said, what part are you from?
I live in the U.S. I live in You ever see the Wizard of Oz? Hey sis, did you ever see the Wizard of Oz?
Where's your wizard?
The Wizard of Oz is an American movie.
Oh, your movies, man of respect. Thanks for joining. Oh,
The Wizard of Oz is it's a classic American movie. It's got Dorothy and a little doggy, and they go over the rainbow. I live in Kansas. I live somewhere over the rainbow.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Brave, how you doing?
I'm alright. How are you?
Rainbow, what? You are in the movie Rainbow?
Yeah, I have. I watched it a long time ago. It's a very nice movie.
Oh.
Yeah.
Viola, are you planning to be a lady?
Yeah. I'm trying small.
I will losing. Imagine we are losing another guy soon.
Yeah, I'm trying to be a woman.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, where are you streaming from?
From Lagos State.
Oh, that's true.
Brave, where are you streaming from? Huh?
Brave, where are you streaming from?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah. DJ OG, thanks for joining.
I'm in the US. I feel uncomfortable sharing my state, but yeah.
Where are you from, bro?
Geez, gang, you look so beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think you're very pretty too, very colorful. And I like your name.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So how are you all doing tonight?
I'm doing really good. I'm really grateful that I got a chance to come on here and talk about the shadow self. Not everybody is thinking, you know? A lot of us are not willing to go through a transformation in our spirit.
Hey, thanks for
You
joining.
know, we want to just...
Let's go stop, guys.
A lot of us want to be immature. We don't want to grow our spirit. We want to be... just experience life, you know, and fun. And there's a lot of people hurting. Like you said, things are hard where you are right now. They're hard everywhere, all over the world. Things are hard for people. And they have us separated from each other, you know?
That's true.
And what you want, I want. That's most important.
Thanks for joining.
This is what I thought. My family, my children, people I love, people you love. If I was to die and I was in heaven, what would be important to me? If I was on my deathbed, what was most important to you that you could say to the people that you love? You could be angry right now at somebody you love, right? That you're frustrated with. But when you think you only have this much time and you're not going to be here, what is the most important thing for you to do? And that's just for them to know that they're supported, that you love them, right?
Yeah.
Everything else disappears. Everything else disappears. And so that's the way that I look at this. They try to keep us separated with all these other side categories, where you're from, where I'm from, that I'm a man, that you're a woman, that I have money, that you're educated, that I'm not educated, right? Yeah. That I'm black, that you're white, that he's Spanish, that he's Asian, that he's from East Europe someplace. But what matters? We all want love. We all need clean water. They're messing up our water all over the world. Clean air. To be able to relax and be able to care about one another without somebody interfering with us, just trying to care about one another. How many times you go someplace and they always messing with brown folks when you get together and try to love on one another? But when you want to fight, they let you fight. They're probably expecting a fight right now. You know? But start having some cohesion and bringing love into it and eliminate the differences. And I believe that that's where it's at. That's where we'll find ourselves. That's where we'll connect with each other. So that's what I want to do with my TikTok.
Are you leaving?
Oh, I really like the music from you guys' country. There's so many different musical beats and dances coming out from Africa, from all the different parts. It's amazing for me in America to watch right now. And I love dance. How is dancing? Tell me about your dancing experience. Do you dance?
Yeah. So much. We dance so much. Yeah.
Is that a part of your culture, dancing?
Yeah, it's part of our culture. Dancing. Many things is part of our culture. So many. Yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing. Like you guys got, all right, so I'm an American. I don't know. I've never been to Africa. I'm just asking. This is what I'm experiencing watching, is that in my research, there's different tribal dances that are that would be like a classical dance here. So there's different tribal dances, right?
Yeah.
The modern dances where they're modifying the tribal dances and with hip hop, they're mixing it with hip hop.
Yeah, sure. They're
crazy.
Mixing it with hip hop 9.
It looks so pretty. I love it.
We should
Also,
go to Africa, girl.
What?
We love our music.
We should team up and go to Africa. It's beautiful. You should go and visit. Like it's America's drama. If you wanna live stress free, go to Africa. There's
That's not what they tell us. They tell us there's people stealing land there, that you can go and buy land, and then somebody else will say, no, that belongs to my family, and try to hurt you. So I always thought, you go there and you might get in trouble from some tribe who don't want you.
It doesn't work like that. Don't let anybody lie to you. I'm speaking from experience. I was born in Africa. Even if I'm raised in America, I was born there, and I literally know how things work. Even if it's not like I don't know much about political and stuff, but the only thing they show us about Africa that is fun is you guys dancing. Everything else they show us is you guys fighting and chopping each other up. And it looks like if you go there, there's gonna be an issue. So there's a lot of they call it propaganda. There's a lot of propaganda. Is when I see weddings. I see all the weddings on my TikTok. Beautiful weddings. You got a baby, Lordman? Hi, where are you from?
South Carolina, USA.
Wow, nice to have you on the live.
I didn't accept many today, but I seen y'all probably wanted to battle me.
Oh no, I'm not battling. I'm just a lover right now. I'm not fighting.
Oh. You're waving. Hello. What was that?
Do you like to dance?
I'm not no good at it.
No.
No, I'm not a good dancer. So then,
one more question. What do you call the dark part of yourself? If people have a bad thing going on and darkness inside, what do you call it?
what? Oh, what?
You don't want to? Can you turn that down, please? There we go. What did you say?
I muted him.
Thank you.
It was awfully loud.
Yes.
I'm not sure what the dark part is.
Oh, you're not sure? Do you have so you don't have anything that you would think about calling it? Culturally,
No.
like if somebody has something going on with them and you see it as some kind of darkness, how would you describe it?
Darkness by like you mean bad or evil?
What, is that the way that you would determine it? Give me a scenario. If I say somebody is got something dark going on with them, there's something dark in that boy or that girl, how would you express that?
That context would be like bad or evil or something.
Bad or evil?
Like there's something dark inside, like a black heart kind of thing.
Would you say that we all have some kind of darkness that we struggle with?
It's hard to say, but I'm sure we all got issues. I know that no one's perfect, but I try to be good and positive myself. So to think about the
Right.
darknesses.
I think that in general, a lot of people feel like they try to be good, you know, but upon deeper reflection, we find out that a lot of us are hiding some BS in there that we could very easily get rid of if we would just admit that it was there. And
It's
that's the
very.
part of
I get that. I ran into some BSers around here. Trust me.
Yeah, you know, I found the biggest BSer at one point when I was doing shadow work was finding out that I was the elephant in the room. That I was
Yeah,
projecting a lot of the stuff that I was feeling onto other people.
that can happen. That happens a lot, especially if people are negative and feeling bad. They want to project their sadness upon people.
There you go. Hurt people scenario.
You know, that's what it is.
So
Yeah,
then there's the thing. What was
I
that?
try to. I hang around the positive people on here, and the creators are positive. I go to their rooms, and we all have these rooms, and we hang out and like each other, and other people feel like they're competing against each other, but we feel like there's room for everybody.
What question do you have, girl?
Yeah, like light code, you know, sharing the light part, the light frequency.
It is. I
Yeah.
love seeing the
Wait,
love on
what's
here.
your question? What is your question? You say you have a question. We are not dancing. We are here to share love.
That my dog's going nuts.
If they are, I can't really see too much. I just see people joining, but I don't see anybody saying anything.
Yeah,
I'm
like
watching.
we all have our own. Like I can't see your text and you can't see mine. Like it's like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
You keep getting a red light shining in your eye.
Oh yeah, I've got this fairy motif going on. I was really feeling, you know, mystical and wanted to have fun with it. So I put my fairy motif on because I was talking about the shadow self.
Usually I see that red light and it's in a movie and it's not a good thing.
No, this is good. This is accentuating my third eye activity, actually. You know what I'm saying? It's projecting outward. It's not projecting inward.
Yeah. It's cool though.
Thank you.
It's a good thing my former dog ain't around. She'd be going nuts looking at that light.
I know, right?
She used to chase the laser like crazy.
Yeah. I like your beach motif.
I just switched to that. I had the space one before.
Oh, really? That would have been cool.
I got less interference when I move from side to side with the background, like you can see that face.
Mm-hmm.
The
So,
beach one was
do you dance, Tim?
no. I'm horrible at it. I
That
was
would
an
be
athlete.
cool if we
I
could
was
all
an athlete.
dance.
I was an athlete when I was in school. I didn't have much time for practicing dance.
Okay.
I was into sports, and I didn't even go to many dances.
No?
No, I hang out with the girls at other places.
Okay.
I'm
Well,
a social.
I'm ready to get off of this live. I am tired. I accomplished my goal, which is talking about the shadow self and spending
Have
some
fun.
time with people on the live.
You're a cool person, so I did follow you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Oh, on my TikTok, what I do is it's a lot of little things that make up a bigger picture. And I do things to lower my stress level. It's the small things. It's the little things in life, you know, that help to lower your cortisol level. If you can lower your stress, you can lower your cortisol level. If you lower your cortisol level, you can help with your glucose. If you lower your glucose, that automatically helps with your fat because fat holds in through your glucose. So TikTok is very therapeutic. Like you said, you hang out with people that are happy, fun, that like to.
I'm a joker kind of guy. I make jokes and I crack jokes a lot that I make up, and I'm a happy guy.
Yep, humor is one of the ways that you can actually naturally lower your stress level. And dancing and talking and sharing community. There's many different ways that we can lower our stress level, and it doesn't have to look like clinical. It's the stuff that we do every day easily and naturally that can actually help us lower our stress level, like TikTok, and within the right format and ways.
I believe that too. I do. I really do.
Yeah. So you'll find a lot of like funny stuff, things, thought-provoking things, motivational, dancing, just random stuff that I did on my TikTok to help me get through my day, my week, my month, my year. And I share it with other people, and that sharing is actually therapeutic as well. So as a collage, I've shared my TikTok and in an artistic way.
I get that. Check out Matthew Bair's live sometime, BAIR. It's an amazing community there. You'd love it.
Oh, that would be cool. If you check out one of the videos, I usually go back and to people's pages and like something of theirs so I can, see what other people are doing, and I can keep up with people more easily that way.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's a positive guy and helps the community. He helps people on here with emotional support.
That's cool.
And a community of friendship and supporters that we built up.
Oh, it sounds interesting. I'm just getting used to coming on the live, and seeing what the community is like and what kind of traffic I would get for people who actually like to think,
Just got to keep at it. This is my second time doing this room thing for the friends. I was trying to do a grow thing, but it's my second time. I got like 5 people in here at my top today.
I don't even know how you guys got on there like that. I have no control over what I'm doing. And I don't know how to even get people off of the live if I don't want them on there. I don't know how you guys got on there. I just pushed one join and then it just happened. So
yeah, I'm not sure how to kick.
I don't know, but I'm learning. I'm not giving up. This is the part that I need to get, and I'm really glad that I got to experience you, Tim, and Bola. I'm glad. Thank you for the other people who came on the live. Sorry if I wasn't able to, apologies if I wasn't able to get to you. Hi.
Hello. Good to see you coming smiling.
Yeah. Thank you for coming and smiling. I almost wish that I didn't have to go, but I do.
Love seeing that. I do.
Yeah. Thank you guys. This has been a joy, and hopefully I'll see you again. Much love to you and yours. Bye. Thanks for showing up, everybody.
Thanks for stopping in. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.